Don in London, hello. October 3rd, 2009, Saturday morning, just after, coming up to 11 o'clock in the morning. A little bit late doing my video. My video is all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. My addictive substance, alcohol, my behaviour. I suppose you could call it cross-addicted, workaholic, relationshipaholic, I suppose healthaholic for quite a long time, and always trying to push myself to wherever I was striving, maybe perfection. And I can recollect a very interesting man said to me once when I was doing some counselling around grief. He said, "Don, it's very hard to be your friend because I don't know what you would do to forgive me if I let you down." And I didn't know really what he was talking about, and I sort of pushed it aside and said, "Honestly, I don't understand. How would I not forgive you?" And of course he was referring to the fact that I was very difficult. It would be very difficult for me to forgive myself for failure, because I was always afraid of failure. I had a fear of being less than. It stunted my growth emotionally, spiritually, and I didn't really realise what was going on, because we only make progress in life. We're never perfect, and we live in this imperfect, perfect moment of now. So recovery for me has always been about making progress and not being perfect, finding the balance in life rather than trying to excel in all elements all the time. It's impossible, but I did try for 35 years. And eventually drink, well, it started as something to take the edge off, made me feel better, convivial, joyful, and took away the fear. I think I was a fearful child. Life in my childhood was not easy, and that's nobody's fault, least of all my parents. Times can be very hard and difficult, and I guess we know that now too. So all about recovery, emotional, physical and spiritual well-being, knowing what my feelings are on a daily basis, so asking myself the question, how am I feeling, why, what can I do? Sounds a bit touchy-feely, I guess, but it's the root of where we have our fears. And physically, knowing how I am and doing all the maintenance I need to deal with recovery and other chronic conditions as well. And spiritually, living in the moment of now. Now, how hard is that? Well, when we've got a history of fear, putting on a brave face and ego, it can be very, very difficult to understand what the truth of now is. So for me, spiritual, truth of now, and as Gandhi said, if you have a God consciousness, or mine is, God is truth, universal truth, not my truth, not my interpretation, just truth. And God works through people, where I get my experience, strength and hope and wisdom. And God is love, love being the prime emotion that we start with, and from that everything else follows, from the assets of our feelings to maybe the liabilities of our feelings when things are out of balance and we are fearful. So what is recovery all about for me? Being a part of family, society, community, getting on with people, being included, doing what I can to find balance in each day, knowing I control nothing. I am powerless over people, places and things. All I can do is make the best choice based on the best information, which keeps me in a fit spiritual condition, or as fit as I can be, never perfect. And of course a fellowship, which taught me a thing or two over the past few years, and that fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous. And I don't speak for it, never can, never will. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, is full of unique, authentic people who choose to speak for themselves where they choose to speak. And I share experience, strength and hope from what I learn, and I do not break anonymity of other people, but it's up to me how I share a message, and I examine my conscience on that quite often. So the fellowship of AA has been integral to my recovery, and continued recovery one day at a time, the ever-present moment, being in this one moment, not stuck in the past, not wishing I was somewhere else and being something else or being somebody else in the future. It's all in the journey of now. So the fellowship of AA, integral to my recovery. I share the readings and some experience I learn from the rooms where I go to meetings. They're called the rooms. It's actually meetings in any place where we can rent somewhere and set a meeting going. and people attend. So the statement of intent behind AA goes like this, and it's called the AA Preamble, shared at every meeting I go to. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And it's a spiritual program, which is about living in the day, seeing the truth of now. And some people have a strong God consciousness, which is their particular belief, and everybody is entitled to their unique, authentic take on spiritual and their unique, authentic take on God or a higher power. So I'm not here to convert anybody or translate it for anybody else. I'm just sharing how it works for me. And the readings of AA in these books, Daily Reflections and others, help me immensely. AA, a 12-step program of action to change attitude and behaviour for the individual, about being open, honest and willing, and 12 traditions to keep the fellowship safe. And the 12 traditions are open to interpretation and good conscience. So what are these 12 traditions primarily about? Well, it's about unity, service and recovery. And we all do service and recovery as best we can. And unity comes in the form of understanding we are all in the same place, whether we're one day sober or not sober, through to decades sober, which certainly doesn't apply to me just yet. Maybe in decades, well, who knows. So the readings of AA, October, all about step 10, taking personal inventory on a daily basis. Earlier in the programme we do step 4, which is the mountain of stuff we've accumulated over the years, our assets and liabilities. So once we start to work on the mountain and get it down to day sized, we use step 10 as a way forward, and it's to do a personal inventory to see what has worked for us and what has not worked for us, and then do something about it to make better choices, maybe tomorrow or now. So in Daily Reflections for today, October 3rd, it says, Serenity after the storm. Someone who knew what he was talking about once remarked that pain was the touchstone of all spiritual progress. How heartily we AAs can agree with him. And that comes from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, another book. When on the roller coaster of emotional turmoil, I remember that growth is often painful. My evolution in the AA program has taught me that I must experience the inner change, however painful, that eventually guides me from selfishness to selflessness. I am to have serenity. If I am to have serenity, I must step my way past emotional turmoil and its subsequent hangover, and be grateful for continuing spiritual progress. And it's the spiritual progress in the day which is of paramount importance to me, to keep on finding the truth. And you know, my head can turn it inside out. But the step 10 reads as one paragraph particularly here. It says, a continuous look at our assets and liabilities, and a real desire to learn and grow by this means, are necessities for us. We alcoholics have learned this is the hard way. More experienced people, of course, in all times and places, have practiced unsparing self-survey and criticism, for the wise have always known that no one can make much of his life until self-searching becomes a regular habit, until he is able to admit and accept what he finds, and until he patiently and persistently tries to correct what is wrong, or where we need to make progress. So the gift in all of this is, it is progress and not perfection. And it's Saturday, a weekend, miserable weather here in London, so it's got to be meetings, hasn't it? I will share the Serenity Prayer at the end of my videos, and it's always to God or good conscience of your choosing, and what works for you. God, or to good conscience, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. For me, it's just for today.